some of you I know, and some of you I might not know. But anyway, I had sort of identified 3 particular groups of people who might be here. The first group will be the survivors of the mental health system. So I would like to congratulate you. I would like to congratulate you on your strength in moving forward and overcoming the difficulties which beset you. There are many difficulties, including decisions about whether or not to tell others about your condition, managing side effects from medications, and returning and rebuilding your life after an episode or relapse. The second group I identified were the caregivers who might have family members with mental health problems. Yeah, and also I would like to congratulate you. Yeah, I would like to congratulate you on your caring and concerned attentiveness to the person that you care about. It is hard enough trying to lead one's own life. To sacrifice so as to attend to somebody else's needs, that's a truly generous act. And the third group that I identified are those of you who are simply curious about mental health. I also congratulate you. Yeah, I congratulate you for being interested to know more about something that has been a fairly taboo subject matter until recent months. Because mental illness affects 1 in 10 individuals in Singapore, it should be discussed openly and taken seriously. Right. So, what do I mean by taking mental illness seriously? Right. That seems like it's stating the obvious. But just the other day, I was talking to a friend who was telling me about what her father had told her. Because she had told her father about me, and he said, "Oh, well, why would anyone listen to someone who has a mental illness and take them seriously, right? Because, you know, I mean, they're men, right? So why would you want to take them seriously?" And another thing he said was, well, you know, doesn't the government have more pressing issues to attend to? Right, so these will be like a couple of things which I feel that that needs a response to. Yeah, because her father is not an uneducated person, but he's actually a retired medical professional. So it's fairly surprising that these views are still around. Yeah. Okay, so thanks everyone. Yeah. So now let me tell you about a number of things that I will not tell you. So first, I suppose that people will be expecting a sharing of my recovery journey. For me to tell the story of psychosis and schizophrenia. But I propose not to do that, because there are other things not in my book that I would like to share with you today. So as you know, I've written a book, A Philosopher's Madness. It's a personal and philosophical account of psychosis. You can get it at Kinokuniya, and you can also borrow it from the National Library. And I will also be selling a few copies here today. So if you're interested in my story, you can read my book, or you can ask me about it later during the Q&A. Right, so, and also just to mention that outside there's like the Burst the Silence exhibition. So there are many stories and voices from people with mental health problems there. So I hope you have a chance to look at that. Right. Next, it may be felt that my telling my story will inspire others, right? To allow others to feel that we are not alone in our difficulties, and to demonstrate that even with a severe and serious mental illness, one can nevertheless recover. But I'm not really sure about that, because I don't really feel that I'm very much a role model, or that I'm someone who really can inspire others. Because, you know, like, I still, today I still continue to struggle, right, like, with some, like, minor depression, and it's difficult, you know, to cope with the psychological scars from the past. felt that I could say a few words of encouragement to all of us about the future. I could reassure both you and all and myself that things will get better, that life goes on, that what goes down must come up, and any other number of platitudes. But then I felt that we cannot really predict the future. Things may not get better, it could remain the same, it could get worse. So, to make us feel better, I could say that struggle, suffering, and times of trouble are the seeds of acquiring and developing resilience and strength. Unfortunately, I do not think that suffering is what makes us better people, or that fighting a battle makes us stronger. For me, my belief is that suffering gives us a situation to show our inner strength and resources, but this inner strength is present even in good times, though it may not be as evident. So, those were the things that I was not going to tell you. So now I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk about. I would like to suggest that we halt the intuitive urge to find solutions to our problems, and instead learn to accept our problems, to embrace our problems, and to live our lives to the fullest despite our problems. When we or our loved ones suffer from mental health problems, we feel the need to address the problem by getting medications and going through psychotherapy or counseling. However, addressing the chemical imbalances in the brain and seeking professional advice may not be sufficient to address the existential and psychological difficulties that arise or that accompany mental health problems. It is addressing these difficulties that is the focus of this talk. Practically, we often face a mental health problem by trying to decrease the stress levels of the person and lowering our expectations of what that person can and will achieve. Instead of empowering and encouraging that person to do what they can do, we worry that the person will suffer a relapse if we put pressure on that person. That's what my parents do. Okay, my suggestion though is that we stop trying to solve the problem. After all, the causes of mental illness are many, varied, and not well understood by the medical experts. So why should we think that we know better than them? This is not at all an attempt to moralize or to tell people what they should do. I believe that every person has the intelligence and the freedom to do what they see fit. So this is just a description of 3 steps that I personally found helpful and that I would like to share with you. The step 1 would be to accept our problems. When I say that we must learn to accept our problems, I mean that there must be a process of coming to recognize that there's nothing inherently problematic or wrong about having a mental condition. We don't need to ask ourselves, why has this happened to us? Why did we or a family member deserve this? We don't really need to ask what are the root causes and how do we fix it. But rather, we may treat it as an ongoing in life. Illness is as natural as birth and death. One might say, being naked is as natural as birth and death. Yet most of us wear clothes. So why should we accept that we must be ill if we do not accept that we must be naked? To me, the difference is in the inevitability of illness. And if it will happen, then it's out of our control. That's why we should accept it. But is this to say that illness cannot be prevented? And wouldn't this understanding go against the history of medicine, where advances in medical knowledge have more or less eliminated illnesses, such as smallpox? To this, my reply is that while particular illnesses can be prevented, illness as a whole seems inevitable. I would be very surprised to hear of a person who has never been ill. As such, why should we be surprised if it is us who falls ill? This is why I think that we should simply accept our problems as the first step. Step 2, to embrace our problems. embrace our problems. And when I say that we must learn to embrace our problems, I mean that we must live passionately, enthusiastically, and face our problems with a great force of emotion and drive. If we embrace our problems, we find that a mental health problem is an exceptional opportunity for us to discover the people who really care about us, the nature and character of a society faced with unfamiliar ground, and about ourselves and how we respond to adversity. To embrace our problems is to accept our problems not half-heartedly, but fully and wholeheartedly. This is an emotional response, it's not a rational response. Too often, we are thinking people, and we want to analyze our difficulties. We do not sufficiently allow for our emotions to take charge. Yet, it is by allowing our emotions to gain prominence in our mindscape that we may have a zest for life. To get excited about our difficulties is to turn the other cheek. It means looking for opportunity in hardship. It means being motivated by life's challenges. And I believe that this is not just possible, but necessary to move out of the rut, to renew, regain, and reinvent, if not resume the life on one's head. Step 3. To live our lives to the fullest despite our problems. And when I say that we must learn to live our lives to the fullest despite our problems, I mean it's not good to either constantly feel sorry for ourselves or to continually press on and to fight existing difficulties. If we constantly feel sorry for ourselves, we will be unhappy. We will be unable to achieve a meaningful life for ourselves. But if we continually press on and fight, we will be in a never-ending battle of sorts and will not feel at peace with ourselves. Instead, a path involving love and gratitude may be taken. Love involves not comparing ourselves to our previous selves, and not comparing ourselves to our peers and to others who may seem more successful in our competitive society. Gratitude involves acknowledging our present gifts, what we have, being thankful for all this. Living a full life means living in the present and not in the past nor in the future. Some will disagree, saying, well, we should be aware of our past, for it is only then can we understand ourselves. And we should be forward-looking, for that may be what motivates us to build our lives. But we should note that happiness can only be experienced in the present. We may not be happy when we look backwards or forwards, for we then fall into the habit of comparing the past with the present or the present with the future. Living a full life also means awareness and appreciation for the idea that the worth of a person is not measured by his possessions, or by his profession, or by his character. My wish is that all of us will be able to understand and appreciate this idea in order to truly make the most of our lives. At the end of our lives, whether we have a mental illness, a family member with a mental illness, or simply going through struggle and pain, I hope that all of us will be able to say at the end of it that we had led a good life in spite of it all. And that good life will not be a consequence of whether we own a house or a car, or whether we have a high-level job or salary, or whether we are married, or whether we have children. Instead of looking outside ourselves for a good life, the real good life would be a consequence of what we find within ourselves. Thank you.